So the Build Back Better bill, right, that long name, the Build Back Better bill that has been passed by the House and is going to the Senate here in the next few weeks, has changed and gone through so many different iterations over the last handful of months. But now we know at least what is in the version of the bill that got passed by the House. And for you as federal employees, there are really two things that is going to affect you. There's a ton of things in the bill, but I'm going to talk about two things that I think are really the two relevant things for you. So if you're a federal employee, this certainly will apply to you. So without further ado, let's jump right in and talk about the two things that I believe are going to be the most relevant for you as federal employees. Again, there's a lot of things in this bill, and it could change again by the time it gets passed by the Senate, but as it stands today, there are two things that I believe are going to be affecting you as a federal employee. Number one, and that is that backdoor Roth conversions are on the chopping block, meaning you will no longer be able to do them if the bill is passed as it stands now. It is not going to stop normal Roth conversions, only backdoor Roth conversions. Okay, and let me explain kind of what this is. Now, if you don't know what a Roth conversion is, long story short, it's moving money from a traditional account or a pre-tax account, let's say a traditional IRA, a traditional TSP, a pre-tax account, and moving money over to a Roth IRA, which is an after-tax account. That's what a Roth conversion is. Now, what actually happens though, in a traditional IRA, once your salary between you and your spouse, or just you, depending on, of course, your tax filing status, once you make over certain limits, you can no longer put money into a traditional IRA and deduct that on your taxes. So you could put money in, but it's not deductible. And what actually people have been doing is they put money into a traditional IRA, right? It's non-deductible money, and then from there they can move that over to a Roth IRA. So long story short, the type of money movement that is going to no longer be allowed, assuming the changes happen as they're written today, is that you can no longer move non-deductible money in a pre-tax account over to a Roth IRA. Can you do normal Roth conversions? Yes, that is still going to be allowed as it stands today, right? Everything could change. You can do normal Roth conversions, but you can't put non-deductible money over from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. So the federal employees that is really going to impact are those that are higher earners, right? And that have a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA and they're doing this sort of thing, right? And so that if that kind of is you, where you are a higher earner federal employee between you and your spouse, or maybe both you and your spouse, have medium salaries together, it may put you over these limits so that this applies to you. And you want to be careful that as you move forward, you don't break any of these new rules. All right, number two, the second change that is going to affect federal employees, at least to some degree. And that is, they call it a SALT limit, which is state and local taxes, or SALT, okay? Basically, as the law stands today, if you have more than $10,000 of state or local taxes, and that's property tax, that's income tax, that's state and local taxes, right, whatever form it is, if you have more than $10,000, you cannot deduct any more than $10,000 off of your federal tax return. Now, what this bill is going to be changed actually is to raise that limit something like $75,000, $80,000 as it is written today, so that basically, no matter how much you pay in state and local taxes, you'll be able to deduct that on your federal income taxes. So that is good news, right? Getting rid of the backdoor Roth conversion, that's bad news. You have less flexibility, but for those that have, a higher than average income, right? And that live in high maybe income tax or property tax states, then this is going to apply to you. If your, state and local taxes have been more than $10,000 at any point, then this will help you in the future if, of course, that happens. Again, where your state and local taxes is more than $10,000, you'll be able to deduct the full amount, or probably the full amount, as long as it's not over the new super high limit on your federal tax return. So long story short, again, a summary of the two changes. It's not going to affect every federal employee, but these are the only two changes that I think, hey, these are relevant, right? Is first, backdoor Roth conversions on the chopping block going away. Second, if you have more than $10,000 of state and local taxes, then you'll be able to deduct more of them on your federal taxes, which is good news moving forward. So again, if things change, I'm going to keep you guys updated as it gets through the Senate. And this is probably going to pass, I'd assume, but I've been surprised in the past. So have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.